So I had this funny dream. I was in London one day and I was looking up at Big Ben and I heard this kind of strange voice, and I knew that it was coming from across the road above all the traffic, but quiet and nevertheless. And I looked round and I saw that it was coming from the statue of Boudicca that stands opposite Big Ben. So I go over there and I'm standing by the statue looking up at it, kind of Victorian depiction of Boudicca, and she said to me, "Oi, Evie." And I said, "What?" And she said, "You're gonna go on a long journey." And I said, "Really?" And just as the words came out of my mouth, a great big fucking hole opened up in the ground right next to me, and I was kind of dragged by some strange force towards this hole that no one else seemed to be able to see, just me. And I tried to resist, but I couldn't resist. And then I plunged, falling into this fucking big hole. And I was falling round and round and round, down and down and down. And everything got really like psychedelic. And there were shapes and there were colours. And I felt like that bloke, the astronaut in the film 2001, when he's going round and down and across great psychedelic panoramas, and all kinds of strange things were going on. And I saw inside my skull, and my skull saw inside me, and I didn't know what was going on. And down and down and down I went, and round and round and round I went. And it was so psychedelic, my eyes felt like they were inside out, and they came out of my head and they were looking back at me, and all these shapes and colours were swirling and twirling around. And then after an eternity, a great big eye seemed to open up in front of me, and I fell towards the eye, still spinning, and the eye slowly got bigger and bigger and stranger, and I fell through the centre of the eye, and eventually I seemed to come out of the eye, and I was like this spaceman, and I was floating, and now everything had changed, and it seemed like I'd come through some kind of wormhole into the galaxy itself, and I transformed into a flying turtle, and I was flying around the universe. And then in front of me there was Jeremy Corbyn, and he seemed to be engaged with some kind of conversation with a guy that we know as Pol Pot, and they were there, and I tried to swim over to them and see what they were talking about, and they didn't seem to notice me because they were so engaged in their conversation. And then I noticed they were talking about tea. Yeah, and Pol Pot was saying that green tea was the best, and Jeremy Corbyn was saying that black tea was the best, and that seemed to be what they were talking about. Yeah, but I wasn't having none of it, because I was thinking of the Cambodian bloody genocide. So I started shouting at the top of my voice, "Oi, oi, Pol Pot, oi, you, Jeremy Corbyn, I know what you're talking about. Is tea really a code word for the coming white fucking genocide? Is that what it is? Huh?" And then Jeremy Corbyn looked at me and he said, "What are you talking about? We're just talking about tea, black tea and green tea." And I said, no, that's not true. Those are metaphors. They're fucking metaphors. You're getting advice off of fucking Pol Pot so that you can inflict a white genocide when you come to power. But just as that was all happening, a fucking giant whale seemed to come from nowhere and swallowed me with one great big bloody gulp. But it worked out all right, because inside the wow I found this lovely little desert island with a coconut tree, and I managed to find a fishing rod that floated by, and there was a little spring on the island, so I had coconuts and water, and I could fish for the fish that the wow had eaten that ended up in the belly of the wow. And I was there for a long time, and while I was there one day, Andy Warhol came to visit me, and he bought lots of soup cans, and we sat there on my island and we talked about shoes, and we also talked about the study of tadpole geology, and it was really cool, and he showed me how to be a superstar. And then suddenly the wow regurgitated me, and I swam out into this big river, and I looked around and I could see that I was back at the River Thames again. So I kind of climbed out of the river near to the Houses of Parliament and walked along the bank there until I came to the statue of Boudicca. And I looked up at the statue and I said, you know what? You were fucking right.